Due to censorship on YouTube, this whole episode can only be viewed on Rumble, the Rachel Ham Show channel. Again, Rumble, the Rachel Ham Show channel. Check it out. Okay, well, so let's go ahead and move on now to our presentation and then Patrick Byrne. So let's talk. I don't know how many people know this about Patrick, about what Patrick has done in the past with setting some very important people up and why he knows, because someone might hear this and think the CEO of Overstock came up with this and it knows this how, so are we allowed to share a little bit of that? Because he's talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, I tell them, get his book Danger Close with the forward in there by General Flynn. And he recounts his life, how he got involved in this, what he did before. And for a quick summation, remember, he, along with others, Kevin Freeman, helped blow the whistle on the Big Short, right? The 08, 09 insider manipulation of our financial system that we almost destroyed it. He was alerting people in government that the SEC was a captured operation, so forth, and he was proved right. And he has also worked. Was close with Grassley. Also, I'm trying to think the former Orrin Hatch, from Utah, a former senator from there. There's several senators that I know he had worked with that were basically, if you see it in the book, but he would kind of get in a get out of jail free card. They needed him to do certain things or ask him to do certain things because of concerns they had with infiltration of the highest levels of our government. And if you look at what he talks about in the book, he's talked about previously on some interviews, Operation Snow Globe, where the Obama administration wanted him, and he did. He delivered bribes to Hillary Clinton. In his words, they wanted to have her controlled and have a little Bunsen burner underneath her tuchus so that when she became president, thank God she didn't, but when she became, and I'm not opposed to Democrats, but these people do not have any allegiance to the Constitution.
We are opposed to satanic pedophile families being involved, though, and that's what, in my opinion,
folks get suicided when you try to, say the right things. But it was a mechanism to control her, right? Set her up and to control her. So Biden's controllable just because he's controllable. I don't think he's. Sorry, my dog hasn't seen the mixed metaphors. Hey, the pitch since the first inning. Hey, we have 3 now. But the was designed to control her. Biden, of course, I don't think. Again, there's people running him. Valerie Jarrett still, I think. Obama, my opinions. But he was used to set her up, right?
And Patrick was an integral. I mean, it was crucial. Like he was the person used.
He was the person used, and then I forget her name, Marina Bertina, the Russian, as he calls her, the Russian bombshell. Who, she got arrested here, then they exchanged her for prisoners with Russia. She's back in Russia. She's a hero, certainly in Russia. But he tried then to set them up, set up the holders and all that stuff, because he said, I'm going to murder her, I'm going to rape her, I'm going to kill her. And they were fine with it.
They were fine with it. When he told them he was going to do all that stuff, they all were fine with it. So he was using that to trap them and to prove that they were complicit in crimes.
Complicit with crime. So Patrick has been used. He's not a confidential informant. He's been an asset that can be used from time to time, right? And again, he and General Flynn have a very strong mutual respect for each other, admire each other a lot. So the best way I ask for folks is, if you can, that the book Danger Close. It's not very thick. I read it in like an hour. It'll go through what he's been doing, why he's been doing it, and so forth. And he got involved with this whole election domain, certainly even before the 2020 election, right? And knowing certain people that we know, he was working with, and since then he has been following leads, following information, and my gosh, we've been working working since January of 2022, when we had the event up in Wisconsin, which was Janet Lynn's one that she held for us up in Wisconsin, end of January 2022. Getting to folks who actually not supposition that we think this was done this way, but getting folks extricated, families extricated, being safe. These are folks who are, I believe you're going to see more information coming out here fairly soon. This is what we did. This is how we did it, right? Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, yeah, I can see why you think we did that way, but it actually was done this way. And to that point,
what was Patrick's first book that he did about the election?
Deep Rig.
The Deep Rig. Okay, that one I've actually read that one twice. That was pretty interesting. If you haven't read it, might want to read that one too. So, and you might not know that meaning my audience does. I know. Yeah, I don't know. I think you do, Matt. But Patrick Byrne and General Flynn and what's her name? Sidney Powell. All met with President Trump right after the election.
Like December 18th of 2020, I think, in the White House.
Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to say all that in case people only think he's the Overstock CEO. Okay. So he's done a lot more than people probably realize. He is an asset that has been used from time to time to do very important and some pretty bizarre, actually, things. He has interesting stories to tell for sure. But I wanted to set that stage so now we can go into last week. Patrick Byrne presented to our coalition this information that we are going to share now.
And the first time I met Patrick, which was at the Trump Hotel, early April of 2021, man, he was recounting how for years he'd be telling Republicans and Democrats, more Democrats and Republicans, that, why are you constantly adding to the national debt? This makes no sense. It's untenable. This is just idiotic. And they finally had that aha moment. He goes, they know that, and they want. And he said, it's not if the system's going to crash, it will crash. And he said the question you have to ask yourself is who do you want to make sure is in power on the back end, building America back up?
Yes, amen. And